essayed right in front of your mom and then her acting like she did not see anything is a weird way to grow up.
There's one thing to be SA'd. Being SA, sexual abuse or assaulted by your family member, probably your stepdad, your dad, your grandpa, or your uncle, or somebody trusted in the family, is a very awful experience. It's a very sad thing. But then, knowing that your mom is aware of it, or she even saw it happen, and she did nothing to rescue you, she did nothing to support you, she even saw it and she just ignored it and nothing happened. I don't think that image, or I don't think it can ever leave your head. I don't think you'll ever forget that in your memory. I don't think you ever forgive your mom for that. So there are two creators that shared their story time, that they were being SA'd and their mom saw it and was aware and she did nothing. There's another thing if they saw it and she did something, but there's another thing if she saw it and she did nothing about it. She just walked away, or she just did like she didn't see anything wrong in whatever was happening. This is a story time from two creators. Let us go ahead and watch these videos together, and I'll be back to share my own thoughts at the end of the video.
It was summer break. It was a Saturday. My mom had asked me, she was like, oh, do you want to go out with my boyfriend to go to SeaWorld? I said, yeah, that's fine, that's cool, you know, whatever. So then she tells him like, oh yeah, come pick us up. He comes, picks us up. We are there from 11 to 5 in the afternoon. We're playing with the stingrays. I did not fart. That was my slides. I never really had a problem with this particular dude because I always thought that he was cool and he was funny. But something in the back of my mind always told me to watch out for him, because every time he stood behind me, I don't know why the hairs on my back kind of stood up as if you just got told a chilling story. So I remember like around 4 o'clock, he was like, okay, well, I think we should start heading out because traffic, whenever you're trying to leave, gets really bad. She said, okay. I said I was hungry. He said, do you want to go to McDonald's? I can get you something from there. I said, yeah. He gets me a Happy Meal, a 6-piece, and then he orders another 10-piece for me because I told him I was really hungry. I had a fruit punch that day and it was super good and had like less ice, because they always put so much ice in your drink to fill that sucker up. It's like they're giving you more bang for your buck, but they're not. So I'm eating in the car, we're all talking, we're laughing, ha ha ha, and then we get to the apartment complex. I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm about to go take a nap. Okay, so before my mom gets out, she leans over to him, she kisses him, she gives him a hug, and she's literally just like so infatuated with this dude. I could tell on her face. She gets out. It's my turn to get out, and then he was like, oh, give me a hug. This man hugs me, and then, like, right here, right there, in my mouth. And my mom, I'm looking for the corner of my eye, and I'm looking at her, and she's kind of looking, but she's, like, kind of looking away, but she doesn't say anything. She doesn't do anything. She doesn't even have a reaction to anything, and she was like, okay, let's go. And I look up at this man so confused. I'm like, are you supposed to do that? Is that okay? Is that what we do? And obviously that's not what you do, but I didn't know that at the time. My boyfriend like spit away from my mouth, and I looked at my mom and I'm like, Mom, I don't like that he does that. And she was like, oh, it's part of his culture. I'm like, no, it ain't. That's part of nobody's culture that you do it like that. And she was like, oh, just forget about it. So I was looking at her like, just forget about it. You want me to just act like that didn't happen? And every time I saw him, I immediately clinged to my mom whenever we would get out of his car, because it was the same car. And she would like, get off of me, like go say bye. I'll be like, all right, bro. And I jumped out the car. Okay, bye. And then my mom was like, that's it? I'm like, that's it? Like, what else do you expect me to do? I was never able to trust my mom after that. Never able to trust her, because the fact that she saw and she acted like nothing was there always made me feel some type of way about it. And whenever she didn't do anything and she like kept dating this man, she dated this man for like about 4 months, and then he broke up with her for some other girl. And my mom was devastated, and she blamed me for it. She said, oh, you know what, this is your fault because you never gave him a proper goodbye. I'm like, oh, I gave him a proper goodbye. Bye, dude, is a proper goodbye for a child. But that's just one of the things that my mom has been there to witness that she did not do anything about. In all honesty, my grandfather was the person that I loved the most because he was always somebody that I cherished. But when he sexually assaulted me from the time that I was 9 to at least 10, and it hurt even more because I didn't have a granddad. He was my only granddad because my grandma, she didn't really like me. At this point, I was also dealing with the other man that was my cousin's dad. I honestly never knew how it started because I was always a granddad's girl because he was my best friend ever. He was the only person that I thought would never do that to me, and he was the only person I felt safe with because he never tried me ever in that way. And I remember the first time it happened, he told me to come sit sit on his lap, and I did because that's what we always did. Ever since I was a little girl, like, he would turn on the radio and me and him would just listen to music all the time, and I would always sit on his lap, never thinking nothing of it. Not knowing that this time was going to be different. So when I'm going to go sit on his lap, I automatically knew something was kind of weird because of the way that he was jiggling me on his knee. And because I've been through it before, I already knew what he was doing, and it just broke my heart. Because this man was my granddad, I never thought that he would be that type of man, but since I found out that he was, and it just turned our relationship into something very sour. Kept asking me over and over and over again if I liked it, and I said, no, I don't like that. And I got up off of him, and he chased me into the closet. Told me, oh, Mija, just because I love you, that's why I'm doing it. And I'm like, that's not love. And he had walked over to me, and he started kissing me, you know, in a nasty type of way. I had begged this man, I'm like, please don't do this to me. He would pull my, you know, shirt just to see things, and then if he didn't get to and I fought really hard, he would just get mad at me. He would be like, oh, you don't love me? And I'm like, I do love you, but not that way. And then he laid on the carpet with me, and then he proceeded to kind of give me at the time, and I didn't know what was going on, and I just freaked out, and I just ran into the corner, and he was just like, oh, this is gonna happen every day, you'll like it and you'll see. And I'm like, I don't like this. And I screamed, and my mom came in and she was like, what's wrong? And I'm like, oh, he did this. And my mom looked at me like, oh, whatever. She laughed it off and she walked away. My granddad came over, hit me in my head with his knuckles, and said, if you tell anybody, I'm gonna hurt you. I still kept telling everybody, and he still kept hurting me. And my biggest fear was because my mom would leave my brother and my sister with this man, and I would always ask my sister, did he do anything to you? Did he touch you? Did he make you feel weird? She was like, no, he just hits me with his knuckles on my head. And I always told myself when I was little that he's only doing this because he's lonely. He doesn't have anybody, so of course he just looks to me because I'm the oldest. But with this one, nobody believed me because this was everyone's dad, and my mom was mad at me, and my aunt was mad, my uncles were mad. They're like, oh, that's our father, you can't do that, he would never do that to you, you're a child, you're his favorite granddaughter, why would he? He told me I was very pretty that day. He was like, oh, you know what, I want to keep doing this with you because you're just so soft and sweet. It's the first experience that I had with him of him doing something like that to me, so it really just like made me hate my granddad. And when he died like back in 2000 and I want to say 12 or 13, and I didn't shed a tear. I was actually happy he was gone. Being essayed right in front of your mom and then her acting like she did not see anything is a weird way to grow up.
Story time on how my mom walked in on her 24-year-old boyfriend inside of my 8-year-old body. I have hesitated to tell this story even to her, but I need healing. So this happened in the year 2005 in Las Vegas. They were dating maybe a couple of months, I guess. And he had a daughter named Navi. I'm gonna just call her Navi for TikTok's sake. And we played with Navi often, me and my sister. Navi was about a year younger than me. She was the same age as my sister, who was 1 year younger than me as well. And yeah. And he was a single father raising Navi. So we were having a play date in our living room, and Quinn was over. His name is Quinn. Quinn was over in the room with my mom, and it came time where everybody was sleeping. Everybody was sleeping. Everybody was sleeping, and I'm not exactly sure what time it was, but I know it was the middle of the night. And I've always suffered with, getting a good night's rest unless I'm absolutely exhausted. But even as a kid, sleep has never really been my friend. But in the living room, we had the couch, which was facing the hallway leading towards the rooms. And we had a bed in the living room because my grandmother used to stay with us, but she had recently moved out. So my sister and Navi were on the couch, and I was on the bed, facing towards the couch, so away from the rooms in the hallway. So I'm laying on the bed, I'm laying on my side, and I have a little pajama dress on, a little Powerpuff Girls pajama dress with my little undies. And I'm laying on my side, and I hear the room door open. And I feel like spirit kind of knows before traumatic things happen, you know? Because in a way I had no idea of knowing exactly what was going to happen, but energy is something else because I expected. So a little after I hear the door open, I don't hear anything else, but energy, again, is something else because I feel a certain presence over me, but I'm just like, just pretending to be asleep. I don't like look around or, you know, I'm just laying there. But I feel that presence for a little while. And you ever felt like you're being watched?
Hmm?
I felt that too. And after that, I feel the cover, my little blanket lift up behind me, and I feel him slide himself under the blanket and directly behind me. And immediately, I feel this man. Mind you, I'm 8, but I feel this man. So immediately, I knew what he was doing. I knew what he was doing as I felt that presence over me for that little while. I knew immediately as soon as I felt him. He basically was preparing himself for what was about to come. And I'm laying on my side, he's laying behind me. He sort of lifts my leg up and he pulls my undies down and he places himself between my legs and he's like moving back and forth. And I'm frozen. Mind you, I am frozen. I was too afraid to even breathe. At times I felt like I did not breathe. And I don't know why, but I just became a statue. And then he inserts himself completely. And he's 24 and I'm 8. So it was a bit of a struggle, but he accomplished what he wanted. And again, he's moving. And he's like grunting. But then I hear my mom's door open again. And he immediately just jumps. Immediately jumps, pulls himself out. Loser. And I hear my mom, and I'm thinking it's gonna be, you know, different than what happened. But she asks him, she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, nothing, I'm just laying down, you know, with the girls, they were up. Just making a little excuse or whatever. And my mom was a victim of child SA. So I don't know if she was scared she didn't question him any further. He got up and they went in the room, and I was stuck on that bed in that same position, panties still down, till the sun came up. Honestly wondering what happened. And I remember this because it was the first time where I was in front of my mom and I did not feel protected.
Sorry, I didn't warn you all for the kind of story you're about to listen to, because even me, I didn't know it was this bad. I didn't know it was this bad. Like the second one was very emotional. Just imagine going through that, and the only person that you thought should protect you saw you and did nothing. That's worse. What happened is worse. It's bad. It's crazy. Now saying that somebody saw you that could have protected you, your mother, and did nothing. The two creators that posted this video, that was just so brave of them to come out to share their story, because 2005, the second creator, 2005, she was 8 years old. Now she should be about, I can't do the math right now, and she just had the courage to talk about this. I imagine how she must have been feeling for that long. The thoughts in her head, the kind of trauma, the kind of... This is sad. This is sad. I don't think there should be any kind of fear as a mom seeing your daughter being essayed by your husband or your boyfriend, and you ignore. In this century, I don't think it's right. I don't want to know what wants to happen. What is your fear? That the man is going to leave you? Your fear is the man is going to leave you, or your fear is that it was your daughter that seduced your man? What is your take on this video? Because I don't have much to say. Let me know your thoughts about this video down in the comment section, okay? And thank you all so much for tuning in today. It's your favorite girl again, Maria David. And don't forget to like and share and subscribe and turn on the post notification bell to get notified as soon as I upload another interesting video. And of course, I'll see you in my next one. Bye.